Han Jae stood near the edge of the trade station and watched cargo drones move like slow insects. The station was old and tired, much like him. Lights flickered above metal halls. Voices from many worlds mixed into a low noise that never truly stopped. Han Jae worked here as a maintenance helper. It was quiet work. It was safe. That was all he wanted now. He lived in a small room with one window that looked out into space. He owned very little. A bed, a table, a small heater. Inside a locker rested an aged human uniform. The cloth was thin and faded. The color had changed with time. A stitched symbol rested on the chest. The edges were cracked. Most people no longer knew what it meant. Han Jae still remembered. He had not worn the uniform in many years. He kept it only because throwing it away felt wrong. Too many faces lived inside that cloth. Too many voices. On most days, he did not even open the locker. That day was different. The station prepared for an alien trade visit. Ships arrived from a distant star group. The visitors were rarely seen. Rumors said their empire was old and very careful. Security teams moved through the halls. Merchants cleaned their stalls. Han Jae was asked to help with basic repairs near the main dock. He pulled on his work jacket and went out. The air smelled of metal and fuel. When the alien ship docked, a long ramp lowered with a deep sound. The visitors stepped out slowly. They were tall and pale. Their eyes reflected light like glass. Their clothes were smooth and dark. Among them walked a young alien woman. Her name was Lyra. She moved with quiet grace. Her eyes scanned the station with sharp focus. She had studied human places in old records, but seeing one in real life felt different. The station looked smaller than the images, weaker. Yet something felt familiar to her. Han Jae finished tightening a loose panel and turned. He noticed the alien group passing nearby. He stepped aside to give space. As he moved, his jacket slipped open for a moment. Under it, the old uniform was visible. He had worn it beneath his jacket without thinking. The cloth felt heavy against his chest. Lyra stopped walking. Her eyes locked onto the symbol. Her breath caught. Her body froze. She stepped forward slowly. Each step felt unreal. The symbol was exactly as described in the old stories. The lines, the shape, the meaning. Her heart began to race. Han Jae noticed her staring. He felt uncomfortable and pulled his jacket closed. "I am sorry," he said softly. "Am I in the way?" Lyra did not answer. Instead, she knelt. The sound echoed across the dock. Conversation stopped. Humans turned in shock. Aliens gasped. A security officer moved forward, then stopped in confusion. No one understood why a member of a proud alien race would kneel to an old human worker. Lyra lowered her head. "You are the one," she said. Her voice was calm, but filled with emotion. Han Jae stared at her. "Please stand," he said quickly. "You do not need to do this." Lyra looked up. Her eyes were wet. "The symbol," she said. "It is real. The guardian mark." Han Jae felt a cold weight in his chest. "That is just an old unit sign," he said. "It does not matter anymore." "It matters," Lyra replied. "It saved my people." Silence spread. Alien leaders stepped forward. Human officers rushed in. Questions filled the air. Han Jae felt trapped. He had not wanted this. He had tried to disappear from the galaxy. Yet the past had found him. Lyra stood at last, but kept her head low. "Long ago," she said, "our worlds burned. We were weak. We had no fleets. Then humans came." Han Jae closed his eyes. "They fought," Lyra continued. "They did not ask for land. They did not ask for tribute. They wore that symbol." A human officer asked, Who are you speaking of? The silent shield, Lyra said. Han-Jae's hands trembled. That was the old name. The one erased from records. The one buried with the dead. They stood between us and destruction, Lyra said. When the war ended, they left. We searched. We never found them. Only stories remained. She looked at Han-Jae again. Until now. Han-Jae opened his eyes. He saw faces from long ago. Friends who never came home. He remembered smoke and fire. He remembered choosing to retreat while others cheered victory. I was not a hero, he said quietly. I just followed orders. Lyra shook her head. That is what heroes say. The station commander ordered a private room. The crowd slowly dispersed, but whispers remained. Han-Jae walked beside Lyra in silence. He felt old again, tired again. Inside the room, Lyra bowed deeply. My people owe your people life, she said. Han-Jae leaned against the wall. We failed too, he said. Many worlds still suffered. But we survived, Lyra replied. Because of you. He looked down at the symbol beneath his jacket. For years, it had felt like a burden. Now it felt like a weight the galaxy still remembered. Outside the window, stars drifted slowly. Han-Jae realized that the quiet life he built was ending. The past was awake, and the symbol was calling the galaxy to remember humanity once more. The small room felt too quiet after the door closed. Han-Jae stood near the wall with his arms crossed. Lyra sat across from him with perfect posture. Human officers and alien aides waited along the sides, unsure how to act. No one wanted to break the silence. At last, a young human officer stepped forward. His name was Park Sun. His uniform was clean and new, unlike Han-Jae's worn clothes. We need to understand, Park Sun said carefully. That symbol is not in our active records. Many files from old wars were sealed or lost. Lyra nodded slowly. For us, it was never lost, she said. It was taught to every child. Han-Jae let out a tired breath. Those stories were never meant to become legends, he said. We did not want statues or songs. Park Sun looked at him with surprise. Sir, with respect, why was it hidden? Han-Jae's eyes lowered. Because if people knew how much power they had, they would ask humans to fight every war. The room fell silent again. Lyra folded her hands. My people called you the Silent Shield, she said. You arrived without warning. You stood between us and extinction. When the threat ended, you vanished. We believed it was a promise, that humans would return only if truly needed. Han-Jae felt a sharp ache in his chest. Memories stirred like ghosts. He saw damaged ships holding the line. He heard orders given in calm voices while alarms screamed. Humans had stayed while others fled. We stayed because no one else could, he said quietly. That is all. Park Sun turned to a wall screen and activated an archive search. Old images appeared. Grainy recordings. Broken data lines. A symbol slowly came into focus. The same symbol on Han-Jae's uniform. It exists. Park Sun whispered. Another human entered the room. A woman with calm eyes and silver hair. Her name was Oh-Rin. She was a civilian historian assigned to deep archives. These files were restricted by human command, she said. Most were sealed after the withdrawal. The unit name was removed. Why? Lyra asked. Oh-Rin looked at Han-Jae. Because the cost was too high. Han-Jae nodded. We lost too many. And we learned something dangerous. If humans become symbols, others will stop standing for themselves. Lyra listened carefully. But your absence made you legends, she said. That was never our goal. Han-Jae replied. As the discussion continued, word spread beyond the room. Whispers moved through the station. Merchants talked. Dock workers paused. News channels quietly began to record. The idea that humans had once guarded the weak shook many beliefs. Later, Park Sun walked with Han Jae through a quiet corridor. "Sir," he said, "many will want answers. Some will want you to speak publicly." Han Jae shook his head. "I am done with speeches." "But the galaxy is changing," Park Sun said. "Your silence might cause fear." Han Jae stopped walking. Fear grows when truth is hidden. But pride grows when truth is abused. They stood there for a long moment. Meanwhile, Lyra spoke with her delegation leader, an older alien woman named Syrah. "The mark has returned," Lyra said. "The promise lives." Syrah studied her carefully. "Be cautious," she warned. "Other powers will not welcome this." Lyra's gaze was steady. Truth does not need welcome. That night, alerts flashed across hidden networks. Old allies stirred. Quiet worlds sent signals. Many had waited generations for proof. The symbol was more than cloth. It was memory. Han Jae sat alone in his room later, holding the uniform in his hands. He traced the symbol slowly. Each line reminded him of choices made in fire and darkness. He remembered refusing medals, remembered walking away. A soft chime sounded at the door. It was Lyra. "I hope I am not disturbing you," she said. He nodded toward a chair. "Sit." She did. "My people believe the symbol means one thing," she said. "It means humans do not abandon the helpless." Han Jae stared at the floor. "Sometimes we arrive too late." "But you came at all," Lyra replied. "That is rare." He looked at her then. Truly looked. She was young, yet carried the weight of history. "Why kneel?" he asked. "You embarrassed your leaders." Lyra smiled softly. "Because some truths must be honored without words." Outside, a distant alarm echoed faintly. Not urgent, just a system test. Yet it made Han Jae's heart tighten. "What happens now?" he asked. Lyra stood. "Now the galaxy remembers who stood when others ran." Han Jae knew that memory was dangerous, but he also knew it was necessary. As stars drifted past the window, he felt the quiet before a storm. Humanity had been seen, and once seen, it could never fully hide again. The station did not sleep after the truth spread. Lights stayed bright. Voices filled the halls. Screens showed quiet news reports from distant systems. The symbol on Han Jae's uniform was no longer just a rumor. It was now a question asked across the stars. Han Jae woke early and felt the weight of it at once. He washed his face and sat on the edge of his bed. For many years, he had lived without meaning beyond survival. Now meaning pressed in from every side. Outside his room, security patrols had doubled. Not because of him alone, but because ships were changing course. Some came in peace. Some came only to watch. Lyra walked beside him through the station later that day. People stepped aside as they passed. Some bowed. Some stared. Han Jae disliked all of it. "You do not need to stay near me," he told her. Lyra shook her head. "My duty is to witness," she said, "and to protect the truth." They reached a wide hall where diplomats gathered. Human Representative Lyra stood at the center. She was calm, her voice steady even as pressure built around her. "Humans do not claim rule," Lyra said. "We do not seek command. The past actions of a few do not place chains on the present." Some alien delegates accepted this. Others did not. A tall envoy from a hostile power spoke next. "If humans once held such strength, why hide now?" he asked. "What else are you hiding?" Han Jae felt anger stir, slow and heavy. But Lyra answered before he could. "We hide nothing," she said. "We simply choose when to stand." The room buzzed with tension. Park Sun watched from the edge. He had spent the night reviewing data. Signals from old battle zones were lighting up. Forgotten fleets were moving. Not toward Earth, but toward the station. "Someone is testing us," he said quietly to Orin. Orin nodded. "They fear what they do not control." That fear did not stay hidden for long. An alert rang through the station. Not a warning. Not yet. A probe had entered nearby space, unmarked. Silent. Hanjay closed his eyes for a moment. "They are measuring," he said. Lyra looked at him. "Measuring what? Whether humans still matter." Hours passed slowly. The probe drifted closer, then pulled back. A message followed. Simple, cold. "Humans are obsolete." "Stay silent." Many panicked. Merchants argued. Some alien visitors prepared to leave. Hanjay stood before the main viewing window. He remembered similar moments long ago. Enemies always spoke first. Humans listened. Lyra approached him. "They want a response," she said. Hanjay shook his head. "No words. What then? Action only if needed." The hostile power did not wait long. A small strike group appeared at the edge of the system. Not large enough for war, just enough to threaten. Park Sun took command of station defense. The systems were old. Some were manual. Many aliens doubted they would hold. "They will," Hanjay said, "because humans build things to last." Lyra watched in silence as humans moved with quiet focus. No shouting, no fear, just preparation. Civilians were moved to shelter. Medical bays opened. Even alien crews were given protection. "Why help everyone?" Lyra asked. "Because panic spreads faster than fire," Hanjay replied. The hostile ships moved closer. Power signatures rose. A warning shot burned empty space. Park Sun did not return fire. Minutes passed. Then another shot. Still no answer. Finally, a single human defense platform activated. Not with force, but with precision. It disrupted sensors. It blinded targeting systems without destroying them. The hostile ships pulled back in confusion. "They are weak," one alien observer whispered. "No," Lyra said softly. "They are restrained." The attackers regrouped and tried again. This time, human ships launched. Old designs. Scarred hulls. Crews with calm voices. Hanjay watched them move into position. "Same formation," he murmured. "After all this time." The human ships did not chase. They blocked. They shielded the station. When fire came, they absorbed it and redirected it into space. The attackers hesitated. Then they fled. Silence followed. Across the station, people stared at screens in disbelief. No great destruction. No grand speech. Just defense. Lyra felt her chest tighten. "This is what the stories meant," she said. "You stand so others do not have to fall." Hanjay felt no pride. Only relief. Later, as systems cooled and alarms faded, messages arrived from many worlds. Some thanked humans. Others asked questions. A few issued warnings. Lyra gathered the leadership again. "The galaxy has seen enough," she said. "Now it will decide." Hanjay returned to his room that night. He removed the uniform and folded it carefully. It was no longer just memory. It was responsibility. Outside the window, distant ships changed course. Some moved closer. Some moved away. Lyra stood in the hall, looking out at the same stars. She finally understood why humans scared empires without ruling them. They did not need permission to stand. They only needed a reason. And now the galaxy had given them one. The quiet after the clash felt heavy. The station repairs began at once. Burn marks were cleaned. Shield systems were checked by hand. Humans worked beside aliens without pause. No one spoke loudly. No one celebrated. Hanjay helped where he could. He carried tools. He checked power lines. His body ached, but he welcomed the pain. It kept his thoughts grounded. Lyra followed him through the corridors. She watched how humans spoke to each other. Short words. Clear meaning. No wasted sound. "You do not act like victors," she said. Han J paused. "Victory is loud," he replied. "Survival is quiet." News from beyond the station arrived slowly. The hostile force had pulled back, but not fully withdrawn. Scouts watched from afar. Messages from neutral systems asked careful questions. Old allies sent simple signals of support. Lee Era stood before a wide display with Park Sun and Oh Rin. "They are waiting for a mistake." Lee Era said, "We will not give them one." Park Sun answered. Oh Rin added, "History shows that humans lose wars when pride leads. We win when patience holds." That lesson was tested sooner than expected. A damaged alien transport arrived without warning. Its engines failed as it crossed into the system. Life signs were fading. It belonged to a species allied with a hostile power. Some advisors argued to deny help. They would not help us. One said. Han J listened from the doorway. Then he spoke. "Then we show them what humans do." Lee Era studied him for a long moment. "Send aid," she ordered. Human medical teams launched at once. Lyra joined them. Inside the broken transport, fear ruled. Injured aliens expected capture or death. Instead, humans treated wounds. They shared oxygen. They gave water. One injured alien looked at Lyra in disbelief. "Why?" he asked. "Because you are alive," she replied. Word of this act spread faster than the battle itself. The hostile scouts withdrew further. That night, Han J finally put on his old uniform openly. Not for display, not for command, but because hiding it no longer served a purpose. He walked through the station halls. Some bowed. He asked them not to. Some still did. Lyra walked beside him. "The symbol is changing again," she said. "It always does," Han J replied. "Symbols follow actions." Later, Park Sun approached him. "Sir, the Defense Council wants you present," he said. Han J sighed, but followed in the council chamber. Voices argued over future steps. Build fleets. Form alliances. Show strength. Han J listened until the room fell quiet. "You are all thinking like empires," he said. The words stopped them. "Humans are strongest when we are not trying to rule," he continued. "We protect paths. We keep space open. That is enough." Some resisted. Others nodded. Lyra watched with deep respect. This was leadership without hunger. As days passed, small fleets arrived. Not to attack, to stand nearby. Worlds once saved by humans came quietly. No banners, no demands. They formed a loose ring around the station. The hostile power sent one final message: withdraw or face total war. Lee Era read it aloud. No one answered right away. Han J spoke softly. "They want fear. Do not give it. Human ships reposition. Not forward, not back. Just steady." The waiting lasted long hours, and the hostile fleet turned away, not defeated, but denied purpose. Across the galaxy, analysts struggled to explain it. No conquest, no treaty, just resolve. Lyra stood at a viewport and felt tears form. "My people believed you were legends," she said. "But you are simply steady." Han J smiled faintly. "That is harder." He removed the uniform later and placed it back in the locker. Not hidden, just resting. The galaxy had tested humanity. Humanity had answered without shouting, and that answer carried further than any weapon. The station slowly returned to its normal rhythm, but nothing felt the same. Ships still came and went, yet their paths now carried meaning. The quiet ring of friendly fleets remained nearby, not as guards, but as witnesses. The galaxy watched what humans would do next. Han Jay kept working. He fixed panels. He cleaned conduits. He shared meals with workers who once ignored him. He refused special treatment. When people tried to thank him, he listened, then returned to his tasks. Lyra spent her days recording messages from visiting worlds. Elders spoke of old fears and long memories. Children asked simple questions. Why did humans leave? Why did they return now? She answered honestly. They never left, she said. They just stood quietly. Lyra finalized agreements that were not treaties. No borders were drawn. No commands issued. Instead, shared signals were set. Safe routes. Emergency calls. Mutual aid. This is not an empire, one delegate said. No, Lyra replied. It is a promise. Park Sun trained crews from many species in human defense methods. Simple rules. Protect civilians first. Hold lines without chasing glory. Retreat when needed. Stand when required. They are not flashy, one alien pilot said. They work. Park Sun answered. Rin worked late nights to unseal history. Names once erased were carefully restored. Not as heroes carved in stone, but as people who made hard choices. She made sure the cost was written alongside the courage. Han Jay visited the archive room once. He stood before a screen that showed old faces. Friends, leaders, quiet soldiers. I am sorry, he whispered. It took this long. Lyra joined him. They waited, she said, because they trusted. The hostile power did not return. Instead, a small message arrived weeks later. Neutral tone. Careful words. We acknowledge your presence. It was not peace. But it was restraint. One evening, a ceremony was proposed. Lyra's people wished to honor the symbol publicly. Han Jay refused at first. It was never meant to be worshipped, he said. Then let it be remembered correctly, Lyra replied. The gathering was small. No banners. No grand stage. The symbol was displayed briefly, then placed into a shared memorial. A place open to all species. This does not belong to one man, Lyra said. It belongs to a choice. Han Jay felt lighter as the cloth left his hands. Afterward, he packed his few belongings. His work on the station was done. Others could maintain it now. Park Sun offered him a place in command. Han Jay declined. I have already stood, he said. Now others must. He chose a quiet transport, heading toward a small human colony world. No strategic value. Just people. Lyra met him at the dock. Will we see you again? She asked. If needed, he said. She bowed, not in reverence, but in respect. The galaxy will remember, she said. Then make sure it remembers the right lesson, Han Jay replied. Stand for yourself. Help others when you can. The ship departed without ceremony. Time passed. The shared network grew. When disaster struck, help came. Sometimes human ships arrived first. Sometimes they came last. Always steady. The symbol appeared again, not on uniforms, but in training manuals and rescue beacons. It no longer meant silent warriors. It meant reliable presence. Lyra became a bridge between worlds. She never forgot the moment she knelt, but she understood it better now. It was not submission. It was recognition. On a quiet colony world, Han Jay planted a small garden. He worked the soil with old hands. At night, he watched the stars. Sometimes signals flickered across the sky. Ships passing. Lives continuing. Humanity did not rise as rulers. That it rose is something rarer. Reminder. That strength did not need noise. That courage did not seek crowns. And that when the galaxy was afraid, it was enough for someone to stand quietly and say without words we are here,